Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So in today's upcoming patch on PC, we'll be getting the Reaper's Challenge to never expire again. Woo! I guess they've made some formula where they're going to cycle through the different dungeons and cycle through the different conditions with them. And this should repeatedly give us a new dungeon skirmish to essentially run every day. No longer will the list run out and then we'll have no Reapers for like a good few days, which happened, I believe, a week ago. Anyway, those of you on Bard healers will be pleased to note that our heals won't actually go and heal companions instead of players anymore. Now, the way the healing works is you're capped at 15 targets. So my rejuvenating Carol could only hit 15 targets. And if everybody is running an active companion in a trial like Tower of the Mad Mage or Crown of Keldagon, then you've already got 20 targets. So only 15 of those can get healed. Which chooses who gets healed? You could end up 10 of the companions getting healed and then 5 of the players not getting healed. And then they die and then they're not happy about not getting healed. And there's no fault of your own because it was complete RNG of who got chosen to have the heal. And if you have Mirage weapons, somebody's running those, spawning the clones. You can have the Frozen Storyteller Journal, spawning the dwarves. And all of those could cause it to be really frustrating for a Bard healer. When you're casting a heal, everybody should get it. But then somebody's not, meaning you have to cast some more heals to make sure that that guy gets healed. Anyway, this should now be fixed, and that puts it more in line with all of the other healers, as they have this same target cap on the heals, but then an adjustment to their powers that they don't actually heal like companions and things that are not players. Along with that, those of you who have went and, let's say, grinded out your blessed weapons or your mirage weapons, they should now probably be upgradable. Still not sure if that's going to cover all of your issues, but many of you have been saying, oh, I can't upgrade them, yada yada yada. Well, hopefully that fixes it. You can see the patch notes here. And one thing I didn't mention yet is going to be, lastly, the flesh at will power under certain circumstances was being able to do a lot more damage than intended. And if we switch to the live server, I can show you what I mean. We can essentially use a very simple keybind and then be able to just spam my left mouse button. And there you go. You can see all the damage hits. And you can get some insane amount of damage through this. If you get the timing perfect and you're in an instance with no lag, you can see you can get like 10 hits per second. This was crazy. I could never manage this in a dungeon, possibly because you're having to do mechanics and things. And then I also believe lag. This was on the preview server, literally no lag, nobody else except me there, targeting the dummy, and I could get 10 hits per second. And that's just nuts because you're Bard at will. You're dealing 180 magnitude. You're buffing that up by another 20 magnitude just with Tailman Mambo, adding another 10 magnitude with Masterful Performance, adding another 10 magnitude due to Martial Performance, and then adding 20% more damage from Battlefield Ostinato. And you're essentially having an at-will that deals like 230 magnitude nearly. And you can see the quick breakdown here of the math and testing that I did. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. And then you're spamming this and you can get up to like 460 hits per minute. And we could get that up to maximum, I believe, was 475 hits per minute. I had no idea what was going on with that. The most I could get was like 230 for a good while. And then like I logged in one morning and made the test again on the preview server with no lag or anything, and you're ending up with this. It's just crazy. Anyway, we had a few runs with Crown of Keldagon as well, I did Tower of the Mad Mage, so on, and you can see you can consistently get a butt ton of damage from this at will in combination with Mystify and Touch of Wind, and then of course your Golden Touch mount power. And I think the most I could get there was this 1,155,000 encounter DPS. Yeah, just nuts. I got really lucky on my Mystify procs. That's up nearly 400,000 encounter DPS. Look at all my other results and they're around like 250,000, nearly 300,000 there. And that was my most lucky procs there. Mystify just creates it's a whole lot of RNG and, yeah, like people say, a slot machine for the Bard. And in my opinion, something needs to be done because it makes it a big viper nest to balance between like content where you have 10 players and you have content with 5 players. The way it is now, you're always going to deal a lot more damage when you have your 10 targets, because if Mystify can proc on each hit in that second. So if you have 15 people attacking the target within that second, then you're getting 15 hits of Mystify, and that just gets nuts. Sure, the base damage of Flesh is really high there, 500,000 counter DPS, and you can consistently pull that off. And on a dummy, you're getting about 500,000 counter DPS as well. You add in Mystify and you're pretty crazy. Overall, it's a pretty good thing they're getting this fix out. It was quite a funny thing to discover back in the past. It was only like 2 months ago by now that I figured out, yes, you can animation cancel with your tab. And how is this done? Well, just through a very simple keybind, and we have that right here. All you're doing is binding to your left mouse button that you will evaluate left click, so that's using your at will on your left click here, and then you're also going into your special class power and then out of your special class power, and that special class power is the perform mode. And there was no cap on how quickly you can go in and out of this. So essentially you go in and out of it so quickly that you don't even see it just by clicking like this. And by doing that, essentially what you're doing is you can see the animation of Flesh when I just cast it normally. You can see how slow it is, but the very first hit is super quick. You can see that when I just click it, right? I just click it and it hits, and that's it. You're done. And so in order to stop the rest of the animation playing out, the combo of 3 hits, you would just go like, you would click and go into your tab and then out of it, and you'd be able to click again. You could do it manually, but because if you're playing on, let's say, 120 ping, then it's taking like 0.1 second to actually get to the server, and then they process that and then it gets sent back to you and then registers as a hit. Whereas if you have it as a keybind like this, you're basically activating these 3 commands in one click of a button, and that way you're sending all that information instantaneously to the server and then back, and then it triggers what happens, and you keep spamming those, and then you get all that damage. And it was a pretty big design flaw, and I'm surprised nobody figured it out like way earlier than I did, since it's pretty simple. Other people use this keybind in other areas of the game. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bush, but yeah, the results are pretty ridiculous. But overall, it was pretty fun and amusing to run. And that's what they mean by this patch notes part here. And they've gone and upright fixed that. We're on the preview server here, and we can attempt to do the same keybind with this clicking. And you can see every time it will just not put you out of this perform mode. What they've essentially done is disabled this special class power. You can't exit your tab power with this keybind. The only way you can exit it is by pressing the configured button that's specifically for your perform mode. And you can see that by, like, if I bind my left mouse button to go into my tab power just by going special class power, I have that slotted there. I should be able to click my left mouse button and go into tab and then go out of tab. But you can see the keybind doesn't work to go out of tab. What they have said they've done is they've added a short delay before the Bard can leave the mode, and that does sound about right. And otherwise, these are the unusual situations where you can do more damage. They're probably not too happy with me publicizing this keybind, as again, it can be used in other classes and so on. But that aside, yeah, I'm going to have to find another way to play my Bard DPS. I'm just going to stick to my rogue for now, until potentially they make a pass on these fixes. I'm not happy with the state that it is in. Sure, you're going to have players, I can do really good damage on my Bard. Yeah, you can't do consistent damage on your Bard. You cannot keep up with the rogue DPS. You cannot keep up with the warlock DPS, unless you're really lucky with mystifying strike. strikes. You have decent AoE damage because you can spam your encounter powers and take advantage of that. Otherwise, in single target, you have like ad libitum, 400 magnitude. Okay, you look at other classes, and most of their magnitudes, at least coming from a rogue, are like 700 up to like 900. You go to a fighter and they just got crazy magnitudes there. Anyway, we don't have a whole lot of bonuses that can add to our damage of our encounter powers, and otherwise we do have this performer, which allows us to spam a lot of our encounter powers. But the problem is, Performer gives you an improvised version, which reduces the magnitude by a half, so you're only dealing 200 magnitude. You look at some of your at-wills and like Flesh 180 magnitude. You already have like nearly just as high magnitude of an improvised version, and your Lunge, same, only 400 magnitude. The highest magnitude you have is Dancing Lights, and this is a pain in the ass to cast. Like, you go and it has a long animation, and then it takes a while for it to hit, and then it can't trigger certain effects. I believe they fixed that it can actually gain the extra damage bonus from Lore Master and also your Flourish, but who's using those? And Lore Master is good. It can give you, with your lore, everybody can grant a 10% extra critical strike over the cap, so everybody could be at 100% crit strike for your entire artifact call. That can be really good. But otherwise, Performer is pretty much the way to go, with just spamming encounter powers nice and quickly, trying to get more Mystifying Strike procs, and overall, that's pretty much it. It's not exactly, in my opinion, the most fun to play, with just having to spam encounter powers, getting lucky, and I believe the ghosting on some encounter powers is still there, where if you mash the button too hard, you end up with an encounter power that doesn't work. They haven't really done any fixes on the Songblade aside from Lore Master and Flourish. And you can see the build that I was using, but it's pretty redundant now since it's all fixed. And of course, in Crown of Keldagon, I was switching out to the Undead Ring, the Red Eyes Stare, and that gave us the crit severity to not be overcapped. And that was like our boons right here. We had our companion set up here, and we had our mounts, and we were running with Ferocity. I don't believe I had it on the previous server, but it was good also. And then the mounts are set up here, and overall the powers and features were this. I was running with Lore Master because I wasn't spamming any encounter powers, wasn't even using them. So every once in a while I did use Lunge or I did use Contre to proc before the boss, then having that extra Lore Master feature where you gain 50% extra damage also when casting a song was just that teeny bit better, because yeah, otherwise this build, there's not really much point copying this because I don't use it anymore. The thing is fixed. I don't play my Bard at the moment in terms of DPS. The healer is very good position now. That's great fun to play. This is previous server. My build's a mess here, so don't go copying this. I still have to make an official build. With that aside, hopefully that's been somewhat insightful as to what was going on with the Bard. I was asked not to publish this keybind, so I didn't. It took them quite a long time to come out with a fix. Anyway, I'd like to give a special thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.